This is the plaintiff, Felicia Warthen. She says she attends the same school as the defendant, and the girl backed out of a parking space and smacked right into her car. She immediately apologized about cracking her taillight and denting her fender, but now she's having one heck of a time getting the girl to pay for the repairs. In fact, she turned into a rude and nasty you-know-what when she found out how much it was going to cost to fix. Well, she messed with the wrong person because she's suing this girl and her mother for $1,115.56, the amount she's owed. These are the defendants, Lourdes and Catherine Reyes. Lourdes says her 18-year-old daughter and the plaintiff were both backing out of their spots at the same time, and they both hit one another. Since they were both at fault, they should both go on their merry ways and take care of their own cars, if you ask her. They're accused of a simultaneous backup crack-up.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant hit her car while backing out of a parking space, but the defendant says it was a mutual collision, so no one should pay the other. It's the case of nice rear.
Okay, Felicia Warthen, you are suing Lourdes and Catherine Reyes for $1,115.56. The estimate to repair your car after the two of you had a car accident in the parking lot. What happened?
I was backing out of the parking lot, of the parking space to my right. And
what does to my right mean? Come on over here. Does this look like the parking lot?
Yes.
Okay.
Pick a car.
Pick a car, any car.
This is me.
Okay.
I was backing out this way.
Okay.
And Catherine was backing out straight.
Okay.
My car is hit on the left side. I have damage.
Put the two cars together where the point of impact is. That's where the point of impact is?
Yes.
Her bumper to the side of your car?
Yes.
The side of your car?
Yes.
Okay, so let me see the pictures. Okay, and then so what happens?
When I realized what happened, both of us exited the vehicle. When she exited her vehicle, she immediately said, "I'm so sorry, I did not see you." She asked me not to call the police. I said, okay. I said, would you like to go with me to get an estimate of the damages? She said, no, I have to go home. I said, okay. I then went to get an estimate of the damages.
Right then?
Right then, immediately after leaving the park lot.
What kind of car is this?
I have a 2006 Toyota Corolla.
Okay.
I went to get an estimate of damages. I called, once I got the estimate, I called her on her cell phone. When I spoke to her, her whole demeanor changed. But in the parking lot, she was very apologetic.
That's how it always is.
Yeah.
That's why you got to call the police.
Her whole demeanor.
Right then. You got to call the police.
Okay. Her whole demeanor changed. She said that she would call me later on. I believe that was a Friday when the accident happened. She did not call me. I called her over the weekend. I probably would say Saturday or Sunday, and I left her a voicemail message. And she returned with texts. I have texts of the whole.
Let me see the texts. So what do you say happened?
Her vehicle was definitely not out of the parking spot.
Okay, so why don't you come over here and show me how you say it happened? No, wait until you get there to talk, because then you're not mic'd in between the two spots.
It was definitely like this. I don't know how far she got out, but we definitely hit like this.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, you know. The damage, everyone thinks there's some magical relevance that you can glean all answers or can be gleaned from the damage. But the damage, if the damage is here, it could be like this, or it could be like this, or it could be like this. It doesn't tell me where the cars were. And where the cars were is what tells me who had the right of way, which of you got out first. It sounds like, you put it the way you say, well, that's not where the damage is. The damage is more. Let me see the damage to your car. The damage to her car is there. So I want to see the damage to your car.
It's just.
Are you No, I can see close up like that. Well, maybe I can. I don't know.
You want her to go back or stay?
Yeah,
here?
go back.
Go back.
So.
I also have pictures
just
of
a
her
moment.
car also.
Okay.
What am I looking at there? It's so close up, I don't know.
That's the left bumper.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm looking at here.
When we were texting at first, there was no damage to her car. Now there's damage to her car.
Well, it's nothing, right? I mean, it's nothing. It's
Exactly,
just like a little
it's
mark.
just
It's
scratches,
nothing. She's not
that's it.
suggesting it's more.
Okay.
So now you text back and forth with her. Do you have the text here?
Yes, I do. And I also have an estimate of the
Did you ask her not to call the police?
No, she claimed that she was in a rush. So then I was like, okay, then just take down my number. We don't have to call now, and we'll figure something out like later on.
Okay.
And then she called me, and I needed to get a chance to tell my parents when I got home. So
Okay.
that's why I didn't call her back.
Okay.
And then we finally spoke, I think, the next week.
Okay.
About what
why
my
a whole
parents
week?
said. No, like 4 days later.
Why 4 days
Because
later?
we were figuring out what we were gonna do.
Who's we?
Me and my parents.
You needed 4 days to figure out what you were going to do? That's either your fault or it's not.
Well, I don't think it's my fault because we were both backing out at the same time.
The problem is what her version of the events are is that you were kind of acting like it was your fault. Let me see the text.
No, I came out and I said, look, she said, did you see me? I said, no, I'm sorry. I did not see you. I didn't come outside of the car and just say, I'm sorry for apologizing for hitting her. She asked me if I saw her and I said no.
And that's fine. I understand that you might just be polite. That part doesn't, it's that when you add that to her calling you to talk about it and you taking 4 days to figure out what to do, it kind of looks like, I don't know.
I mean,
But in any event, so now, hi, it's Catherine. I'm out of state right now. I was all weekend, so I will call you later once I get home. Sorry for the wait. I'm going to be home around 9-ish. If you won't be up or will be busy, let me know so I can just call you tomorrow. Tomorrow's fine. Okay, no problem. Again, I apologize for the wait. Good morning, Catherine. I am just wondering when you're going to contact me. I believe enough time has passed. I spoke to my dad, and he says, since we both backed into each other at the same time, it wasn't yours or my fault either. I'm not sure if you saw me, but I did not see you. We both did it. Therefore, I think we should each pay for our own car's damage. It's not quite like that. See, if it's both your faults, you think it means that you just both pay for your own damage. You have very little damage. She has $1,000 worth of damages. Eric is calling you.
Okay, that's
Should
fine.
I decline it?
Yeah, decline it.
I don't know how long you've been waiting for Eric's call. You respond, if we'd both backed out at the same time, it would have been bumper to bumper. And it was not. I went ahead and filed a police report. I'm taking further action. I don't understand why your insurance can't pay for my damages. Do you have insurance
Yes.
that covers you? In whose car is this? In whose name is this car?
Mine.
Just yours? Is she a listed policyholder?
She should be.
She should be. Yeah. Except for it gets expensive when you put a teenager on. How old are you?
18.
Yeah, she's not on that policy, is she? Eric, you are being very insistent. Who's Eric?
A friend.
Boyfriend?
No.
You have a boyfriend?
No.
Does he want to be?
Apparently. He wants to be, and he wants to be right now. Does he know where you are?
No, not exactly. He has an idea.
Wow, this isn't how she was that day. Felicia, I'm very disturbed to be reading how you are still dragging on this
Yes.
situation. We've explained the deal to you multiple times in a very polite way. You pay for your damage, we pay for ours. What kind of deal is that? You have no damage. It is very simple to call your own insurance and have them pay for it themselves, being that we were both backing out of the parking lots at the same time. All you want is money. And this is proving that point yeah, all she wants is money to repair the car. No, I just want my car fixed. See you in the court. In the beginning, you had no damage. Now there's damage to your car. How odd is that? I did not lie to my parents. I told them my side of the story. I'm done with the back and forth. So did you guys see each other in school?
No.
No.
Then you say, I'm going by what you told me and what you wrote in the text, which I still have. We'll let a judge decide. No truer words were spoken. Eric's pissed. Just so you know. In fact, the exact phrase was, damn, it's going to be like that, girl? That's what it I guess I shouldn't have looked, but I couldn't help it. He was so insistent. I was worried he needed you to put out a fire or something.
So if somebody gets in an accident, they automatically say, don't call the police. Is that an admission of guilt?
Not necessarily, but the fact of the matter is that you have to notify the police and notify your insurance company of the accident.
You don't necessarily need to call the cops, but if you say don't call them, is that an admission of guilt?
They're a criminal.
A criminal? What do you think?
I think it could depend on the situation. I mean, if it's just a rear end, it wouldn't necessarily need the cops, but
when you say don't call the police, does that mean they feel like they were responsible?
probably.
It could mean they have something else to hide.
Oh, they've got a body in the trunk. I got it. Going inside the courtroom.
You know what? I got to tell you two things. First of all, So that you understand, because you're very snooty about your position on this, I want you to understand what the law is on this. Assuming it was both your faults, because you're both pulling out, it doesn't mean that you get to handle your damage and she gets to handle hers. What it means is that each of you are responsible for for half of the other person's damages. That's the law. Not, I'm just gonna go my way because I don't really care about my car and you're gonna have to pay all of yours. That's not the law. I don't know who told you that was the law, but that's not the law. So where did you get that idea that you could just walk away if it's both your faults because you're both backing out?
I didn't get it from anybody. I just assumed.
Yeah, no.
And like, I mean, she was basically telling me to pay for the whole thing if you say that.
No, I know she's saying pay for the whole thing. And the only way that you would have to pay for the whole thing is if I were to believe that in fact she had pulled out first, so she had the right of way. And these are difficult cases because I wasn't there. Mm-hmm. You know, I kind of wish I could beam myself there so that I could see it, but I wasn't there. What were you interrupting me with? What was I so inappropriate as to continue speaking when you were calmly trying to interrupt me?
No, I'm sorry. I tried to look for. I went to the school to see if they had videos,
cameras.
Yeah, and they didn't have any in that corner of the school. So
wouldn't you know it? But I got to tell you, my hunch is that she was out first. And my hunch is that because of the behavior of the parties, not just at the time, but shortly thereafter. Your first words are, I'm sorry I didn't see you. Then when she calls you, you admit to me that you spend a week or 4 days, depending on which answer I take, thinking about what your position would be. That's something somebody does when you feel culpability. That's not something, what can we cook up that won't cost us money? When you left the message, did you say how much the damage was?
When I telephoned her immediately after leaving the place, I told her, and that's
the amount. Did you say the amount of the damage?
Yes, I did.
That's why they spent 4 days thinking about it, because it wasn't a $200 accident anymore. It was a $1,115 accident. Yeah, I'm going to rule in favor of the plaintiff in this case. $1,115.56. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Well, the defendant's going to have to take responsibility for the accident here. So, you prepared to do that, as the judge has ruled?
Yeah, it's okay.
What accounts for your drastic change in behavior, attitude toward her between the time the accident happened and then in subsequent communications?
I mean, I felt like I was guilty at first, but then after I thought about it, and we backed out at the same time, so I didn't want to take all the fault.
All right, head right down this way. Come on in here. So you sue, you come to court, and you win. Satisfied?
Yes, justice if served. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm very satisfied. Thank you.
Eric is mad.
Can we stop?
How you going to deal with
that?
him? You got to deal with him.
Just a friend, though.
Oh,
just
all
a
right.
friend.
Harvey?
Here's my best advice. When you get in a car accident, keep the chit chat to a minimum. What you say will probably end up hurting you. Just do what you need to do, exchange information, and drive away. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.